Chair, thank you for your question, Caroline. From microbreweries and cafes to vehicle repair and metalwork, the arches owned by Network Rail provide an ideal environment for a wide range of businesses. They also play a key role in London's nighttime and cultural economy, hosting a significant number of artists, studios, grassroots music venues, clubs and theatres and artist studios. These venues are ideally suited to railway arches. They are seedbeds of innovation and future talent and are important for London's position as a global cultural capital. Given the loss of small cultural venues across the capital over the last decade, I want to ensure we don't lose more vital venues located in Network Rail arches. Network Rail's decision to take the sale forward as a single transaction was concerning because it didn't reflect the needs of tenants or local economies and circumstances. This approach introduced a real danger that the new owners could force out smaller, lower value businesses from the communities that they serve. Following the announcement this week that Network Rail has agreed to sell, I've written to Joe Johnson MP, Transport Minister and Minister for London, to express my concern about the approach taken to the sale and to seek clarity on the terms of the transaction, particularly around the obligations that should be imposed on the new owners in respect of their tenants. I also emphasised the importance of these arches to the fabric of our city and called on him to ensure that obligations are imposed on the new owner to address impact on small businesses, cultural infrastructure and local communities. It is encouraging that Talareal and Blackstone will be signing up to a tenants' charter, but tenants will remain concerned about the sale and effect it could have on their livelihoods. It is vital that the new owners consider and address impacts on small businesses and local communities. We would also expect them to adopt a more open and transparent approach to rent reviews and lease renewals.
Thank you, and I'm very glad to hear that you have written to Joe Johnson. Shame we weren't able to get an intervention before this big sale went off. There's 2,700 of these arches in London. That's almost half of Network Rail's arches. Now, the campaign group Guardians of the Arches fear that they will be priced out or forced out of these premises once the sale of the arches is complete, as you alluded to. And many of the micro-businesses using these spaces have already experienced rent rises over 100%. The highest recorded was 345%. So you've said previously that affordable workspace for businesses is important, and I was glad to hear you recognise that these micro-businesses are very different to small and medium enterprises. Now, do you have a definition for what makes an affordable rent for micro-business workspace?
Not to hand, I don't, Chair.
Okay, the Guardians of the Arches are asking that rents shouldn't be more than 80% of an equivalent conventional commercial space. They're worried that the new owner's tenants' charter that you mentioned doesn't give any guarantees about rents. So will you include their 80% rent definition in your final economic development strategy to protect these diverse micro-businesses that are using these marginal workspaces?
What I'm happy to do, Chair, is to ask the Assembly to make representations to me in relation to what she'd like to see in the economic strategy, and of course I'll always listen to representations made from Assembly members.
Thank you, I will definitely do that. Now you kind of alluded to the way that these railway arch businesses are like an engine for a thriving local economy, and they include this complete range of creative, messy, light industrial type businesses. Now, in their letter to the Minister for Transport, the campaigners have asked for a healthy mix of use classes and no discrimination against the types of usage to protect the strategic role of for railway arches within the local economy. Will you provide these use class protections in the London plan?
Well, Chair, again, happy to receive presentations from Assembly members, but in general terms, I support that sort of ecosystem, and that creativity it leads to is really exciting. You use the word messy. It is, and as it should be, a sort of creative hub there is in these parts of our city. So again, please, Chair, through you, feel free to make presentations to me through the normal channels.
I will, and will you or your Deputy Mayor for Business meet with the Guardians for the Arches?
I'm always happy to make promises on behalf of my deputy mayors to meet.
Fantastic, thanks very much. I'll stop there.
Okay.